Am I overreacting? My friend wants me to remove my piercings for her engagement party/wedding photos. I'm re-uploading this because the quality on the screenshots was really bad in my last post. I'm not sure if this will look better. I made this account just to ask about this specific issue. I'm worried that I may be overreacting in this situation. I would be okay with removing the piercings if I knew that I would be able to get them back in afterwards, which I'm worried is a selfish mindset to have when my friend is getting married. But honestly, how quickly she's willing to replace me just hurts a lot. Am I overreacting? And here's the screenshot conversation for reference. They say, "Hi, weird question, but are you able to remove your piercings, or do they have to kinda stay in?" OP says, "Like, am I able to remove them at all?" They say, "I mean, would you be able to take them out for a few hours and then put them back in when you get home?" And OP says, "Well, for some of them I can take them out for however long and then just put them back in, but to be honest, I'm not too sure because I never really take my piercings out anyways. But I took my nose ring out once for a few hours and I wasn't able to put it back in myself, but the piercings in my lobes I can pretty much leave out for however long." They ask, "What about the other piercings in your ears?" "Sorry, I'm not sure what their names are." OP says, "Well, the industrial piercing, the bar thingy, I can't really take out at all because it's pretty fresh. And all the other ones, I'm really not sure. I've never had any of them out for any extended period of time, really." And they say, "If you could find out, I'd appreciate that. The reason I'm asking is because of the engagement party. I'm just not really into the idea of someone being in my pictures if they've got a lot of piercings. So I was just curious if you could take them out for the few hours the party's on and then put them back in once you're home." OP says, "Is it just the ones in my face that you want me to take out? The piercings closing really depends on the person, I think. Some people's close really fast and others don't. But I remember my nose piercing closed up pretty fast, and I think the lip piercing would close pretty fast too." And they say, "I'd prefer if you took out all of them, because we're planning on doing some pictures to the side as well, so that means your ears would be visible. I mean, if you want to just leave your lobes in, that's okay, but all the other ones you have going up your ear, and especially the bar, I wouldn't want in the photos." OP says, "I'll look online and see if I'd be able to take them out for the pictures. How long will taking the pictures take? Because maybe the piercings coming out would be fine." They say, "Well, it's kinda gonna be an all-day thing. That's why I asked if you can take them out for a few hours." OP says, "Oh, okay, I understand." They say, "It's nothing against you, just to clarify. I just don't want someone with a lot of piercings in my pictures because I feel like it might ruin the aesthetic that I'm going for." OP replies, crying emoji. "If I'm not able to take them out, what will happen then?" And they ask, "Is getting them pierced again an option if you're not able to get the piercings back in?" And OP says, "It is an option, it would just cost a lot of money getting my piercings done again." And they ask, "Can you afford it?" OP replies, "I probably can. I would just rather not have to get all of my piercings done again. But again, they might not even close. I might be able to take them out and have no problems, but I really think it depends on the person." And they ask, "Do you not research these piercings before you get them? If you could find out, I'd appreciate it, because I really don't want to exclude you from the photos." OP asks, "What do you mean?" And they say, "If you can't or won't take the piercings out, then I'm gonna have to leave you out of the photos, and I'll probably have to replace you as a bridesmaid, because I was assuming that you'd be able to take them out when I made you a bridesmaid, and I really just don't want that stuff in my pictures." OP says, "Well, I'll definitely find out. I don't want to ruin your pictures or anything." And they say, "I know that. I was just hoping that you would just be willing to remove them. I didn't think getting them pierced again or whatever would be something you'd be unwilling to do." OP says, "That's just a very expensive thing to ask me to do. I don't want to make it seem like my piercings are more important than your wedding or anything." And they say, "Then I'm not understanding why you can't just take them out. Your friend is getting married. This is a once-in-a-lifetime thing, and now it's being made difficult because you're refusing to take out some jewelry." OP says, "I never said I refuse to take them out. I just said that I need to find out, like, roughly how long I can keep them out for." And the friend asks, "Why does it matter? I'm getting married? I wouldn't have made you a bridesmaid if I thought this was going to be a big deal. I would sincerely appreciate it if you could find a way around this whole piercing thing. Once again, nothing to do with you, I just don't want that aesthetic in my photos. OP says, I just feel like it's not a very fair thing to expect of someone. These piercings cost money. They were very expensive. Telling me to just get them done again isn't very helpful. It's your wedding and I want you to be happy, but your attitude towards this hasn't felt great. And they say, if you want me to be happy, then you'll find a way around it. Let me know soon in case I need to find a replacement for you. In the comments, as someone who has tattoos and piercings, she absolutely has no clue what's involved with having them. They're expensive and are painful to redo, and you have to go through the entire healing process again. For a few hours so that she can get some pics? I had my nose ring in for years and it closed up after an hour. Same with my septum. I've had to have both redone due to jobs making me take them out. I refuse to accept a job that requires that again. Screw her. You're not the asshole here. She is. Threatening to exclude you because you don't fit her aesthetic is just giving Bridezilla/spoiled brat to me. I wouldn't even attend a wedding where either party had that attitude towards people they consider friends. When the friend asked, did you not do any research on these before you got them? I got so irritated. I would have said, if you knew that you were going to get married and might want an aesthetic, why didn't you choose your friends more carefully? And then block. For real, that's bizarro Bridezilla territory. Just re-pierce them? My industrial alone was like $300 and I babied it for a year to finally heal up properly. It's not just the money, it's the time and effort that it takes to avoid infections and keloids because that is your aesthetic. Hey, former wedding planner here, giving a +1 to the Bridezilla assessment. OP, this is a totally unreasonable request, and the fact that she's already being this unreasonable before the engagement party? Just know. It's not even about the piercings, it's about the my wedding is more important than anything and it's your job to meet my every whim mindset. Big yikes. I highly encourage you to use this opportunity to bow out of the bridesmaid position, because an attitude like this does not get better as the wedding planning process progresses. It gets so much worse. Save yourself from the heaping pile of drama that this girl is cooking. Girls like this get straight up nasty as the day approaches, and that entire bridal party will be at each other's throats before long. Run, girl. This is golden advice right here. If she's willing to dump you over piercings, imagine what she'll do when the real wedding stress hits. A good friend would find a way to make it work, not issue ultimatums. A good friend wouldn't give a damn about the piercings in the first place. And the same as above. I lost my nose ring and it closed super fast, and then I had to wait about 2 months for it to completely heal over before I could get it pierced again. And don't even get me started on the industrial, that one's a pain in the ass. Had to have it done thrice because I have small ears, and there were problems from the start. Now I have a chain instead of a barbell. I wasn't willing to let it go because it looks pretty to me. But yeah, waiting months before you can pierce again, plus the money? $300. Seriously, I paid around €60. Still expensive for me though. Just for some pictures and aesthetic? Yeah, nah. One of my friends is covered in piercings and tattoos. She was helping me do my hair as my bridesmaid and casually mentioned that she'd brought cover-up makeup, etc. in case I wanted her to hide the tats and remove her piercings. I was horrified. I didn't need a sanitized version of my friend. I needed the real her. Tattoos, piercings, and hugs. Daisy Ruby asks, do any of the other bridesmaids have piercings? Has she asked them to remove them, or tattoos she's asked them to cover up? You need to know if she's just being funny with you. It's not like you can't style your hair to cover your ear piercings. The entitlement is wild. Why ask right before, not when she was asking you? Honestly, I'd just say that you don't want to be a bridesmaid anymore and save yourself the headache. OP says she was originally going to make her sister a bridesmaid, but then decided against it because her sister has lots of tattoos on her arms. I don't think it's anything to do with me personally, she just doesn't like that type of style. As for the other bridesmaids, the only piercings they have as far as I know are their earlobes. One of them also has a nose stud, but I'm not sure what she's going to do about that. Moose Honest replies to OP, so, I'ma be real with you as an alt woman with tattoos, piercings, and who goes through periods of coloring my hair vivid colors. I was the maid of honor for an ex-best friend of many, many years. Like, we were friends 19 years, and her wedding is something that should have been a red flag in our friendship, but hindsight is 2020. She asked me to postpone a tattoo on my arm for her wedding so that it wouldn't be in photographs. Fine. She asked me to dye my teal hair blonde for the wedding. She wanted all natural colors for the wedding so that she would stand out. I had had teal hair for 2 years. It cost me $400 to get that color correction for a single day because I didn't want to stay blonde. I was platinum blonde so I could dye my hair back literally the next day. All this to say, a friend loves and accepts you for who you are. An aesthetic should not matter more. Your friend should never have even asked you such a question, and if she cares so much about her wedding aesthetic versus having the people she loves in her wedding, she never should have asked you to be in her party. Do not even research this, tell her no. If she gets upset and removes you, that's fine, but remember this for how she views you as a friend and her relationships. It's on a weak and shallow foundation. Yeah, I don't think you're overreacting at all in this instance, OP. I think the comments have been more than abundant on this issue. That this is the start of a series of escalations. I don't even think it's an if she's going to escalate. I think it's a when she inevitably escalates, shit is gonna hit the fan harder than you could ever expect. As I have unfortunately never been a maid of honor in this position, I cannot understand what you are going through and what the situation is. But I can say, in my all-knowing wisdom, because I have the answers for everything, that you should do your best to get the hell out of this situation before that shit hits the fan. That's not gonna go well for you. I can say that much. And now, onto the update. I'm gonna start with the screenshots. OP says, "Hey, just letting you know that I won't be going to the engagement party or the wedding. You can find a replacement for me." They say, "I really hope you're joking with me, because what the hell? Are you being serious?" OP says, "Yeah, I am. We aren't going to find an option that we're both happy with, so I feel like you finding a new bridesmaid is just the easier way to do it. I'm really not willing to take my piercings out. You don't want someone with piercings in your photos. Just keep me out of the entire thing." They say, "I'm very sorry that I thought my friend wouldn't have a problem removing piercings for my wedding. Do you not realize how insane you're acting?" Guys, why is the pot calling the kettle black? You're gonna drop out of my wedding because I asked you to remove some jewelry? Are you well? OP says, "I'm extremely well. You're missing my entire point with this. I have 15 piercings. Do you have any idea how much money it would cost to get them all pierced again? Unless you're gonna offer to pay me for the damage, they aren't coming out. And quite frankly, even if you did offer to pay, the answer would still be no. I could get scarring, infections, and it's just extremely painful getting piercings done again. This is just something that I'm not willing to do. Find a replacement." They reply, "You clearly aren't because you're acting like a psychotic bitch," in reply to, "I'm extremely well. Since when did piercings hold more value over one of your friends? Are you seriously that materialistic? I only made you a bridesmaid because I felt bad for you anyways. Okay emoji? I'm glad that you've shown me what a selfish bitch you are now, because I can't even imagine having someone like you at my wedding. I have a wedding day to pay for, and you want me to reimburse you for your shitty life decisions? You chose to get the piercings. How you afford to get them back in doesn't concern me, doll." OP says, in response to "I only made you my bridesmaid because I felt bad for you anyway," "You don't have to start insulting me just because someone has said no to you for once in your life. I quite honestly could not give a single fuck if you feel bad for me, to be honest. Don't start calling me shit just because you're on an ego trip. Genuinely fix whatever the hell's wrong with you, because you're gonna drive away every single person in your life eventually if you keep acting this way. I've explained myself over and over again, and if you're choosing not to understand where I'm coming from, there's nothing I can do about it. You're too self-absorbed to even fathom something that doesn't affect you directly." They reply, "You have the audacity to call me self-absorbed when you aren't showing up to my wedding because I asked you to take out a few piercings? You're a selfish bitch, and you know you are. You're actually laughable. Don't want or need someone like you at my wedding. And since you're not coming, tell blank that he's uninvited too. Ruining the occasion for your boyfriend as well because you're a selfish little girl. And OP replies with a bold emoji, just doing the, what? I don't care. Whatever. Hell yeah. Love that for you. So, for the text post of the story, hello everyone. Hopefully people can find this update because I'm not really sure how this app works, to be honest. I just wanted to say that the post got a lot more comments than I was expecting, and I tried to read through / reply to a lot of them, but it was very difficult, and I still really appreciate the kind words though. This entire interaction was a lot more aggressive than I was expecting it to be, on my part and on her part, because I'm usually not a confrontational person, so this was just a lot for me. But long story short, I'm not going to the wedding. This is a definite end to our friendship, but I ultimately do feel like it was something that needed to happen, as I can now acknowledge that she was basically treating me like a doormat. The name blurred out in the last screenshot is my boyfriend's name, as I wanted to keep those details private. Due to this new development, I'm thinking of going out and getting myself a new piercing. Once again, thank you, because there's been an overwhelming amount of support from most people, and I was not expecting this to turn into as big a deal as it did. Thank you a lot. In the comments, CapOK says, the way I'd be posting these on Facebook, Instagram, tagging her fiancé and her family, like your first post? Already baffling on her end, but this one, whatever she's smoking, I think we should all avoid. Good riddance. What piercings are you thinking next? That's exciting. OP says, to be honest, I just want her away from me and I'll be happy. I was thinking of getting my other tragus done. Out of all of the piercings I have, I had the most pleasant healing experience with the tragus. I don't want anything that's super demanding since I'm already dealing with the healing process of my industrial. What else do you have pierced? Feel free to leave out intimate ones, I'm just curious. I have 11 tattoos and 16 piercings. You can come to my wedding. I mean, it already happened, but I could move on for you so you could go. What does that mean? OP replies, here's all the piercings I have. I appreciate the invite to your wedding. Triple lobe piercing on both ears, industrial piercing in one ear, daith in both ears, helix in both ears, tragus in one ear, rook in both ears, anti-tragus in one ear, double nose piercing, and a lip piercing. Spectre Galaxy says, what the whole hell, bro? She's wigging out about those piercings? Not that it makes it any better or worse at all, but those? It's not like you've got your face completely done up. She's absurd. You dodged one hell of a bullet. I wouldn't say a single solitary forkin' word to her again, ever. I was also expecting to hear different piercings. These sound pretty tame, to be honest, and I bet they look really cute too. I'm sure your boyfriend is crying that he can't go. I mean, I don't know their relationship, but I would assume that he wouldn't have wanted to go or have gone anyway, considering what was going on with you. She's nuts. OP replies, he wasn't really happy with the idea of going before any of this stuff happened. He was only going to come with because he didn't want me there on my own. This is such a textbook narcissistic opinion. Obviously, everyone who can't be at her wedding will be devastated. I have one in my family. I don't talk to her, but my sister does. During one of the many times that she told my sister she was done with her, my cousin then went on to say, but I already sent my Christmas cards, so please show it to sister's husband and kids because they didn't do anything wrong. It still cracks me up years later. Who would have thought that this was gonna happen, guys? A certified narcissist coming up against someone with a spine? Crazy scenes. Never would have seen this one coming. What, you don't want to come? You seriously are not going to give in to my demands from the last one? It's such a small offense, bro. Just wait until you see what else I have planned for you. Bro, seriously? This is the stick that broke the camel's back? Seriously, bruh? I just love how she didn't have any actual comebacks to OP. There was nothing of substance there, so she just immediately goes to, you know what, I always hated your ass anyway. You're literally the spawn of Satan. Everyone hates you, bruh. Everyone's laughing at you. The tried and true case of, if you don't have a comeback, hit him with some personal insults. At least then you have some ammunition. Aren't narcissists just so fun? They're so cool and so epic to just interact with. Love that so much for you, OP, that you actually have a spine. Thank you for standing up for her and directly confronting the situation and being like, you know what? I ain't coming. Find someone else. Good luck in the next lifetime. You love to see it, and thank you for the drama. Our next post is by user Suspicious Rock, and it's titled, My husband, 32 male, left me, 32 female, after almost 15 years together and wants me to forget and let him come home. What are my next steps to stop that? So my husband and I have been married for almost 2 years, but together for almost 15. He's my only long real boyfriend that I've had in my adult life, and we have 2 children together. We've had a rocky relationship from the beginning, if I'm being honest, but the last 3 have, for the most part, been pretty great. The turning point for our relationship, I feel, was after he got blackout drunk at his friend's wedding and spent the entire 1.5-hour drive home, that I drove him and his friend home from as I was sober, screaming at me and saying nasty things. Oh boy, this can only go well. Since then, though, things had been pretty good. I've been working on myself, have lost weight, putting more effort into myself and my appearance, and have been making new friends. About 5 months ago, he woke up one day and he told me that he wasn't happy with his life or me and wanted to leave. He then decided he was wrong and didn't want to leave. Not to drag it on too much, but a highlight reel of the last 5 months is he has left me 4 to 5 times and comes back every time saying he's sorry. Dude, I wonder if he cheated when he did that. No way, right? Been unhappy when I've gone for dinner or to see girlfriends. Got blackout drunk again and behaved horrendously towards me. I can't really talk about it on the thread. The same night as above, there was some severe drama with his family. I'm also being made out to be the villain for telling them this behavior is disgusting, especially since our 2 children were asleep in bed when everything was happening. He's called me every name under the sun, often in front of our children, accused me multiple times of having affairs with absolutely no suspicions. Who had projection on their bingo card? I didn't realize a few of the things can't be discussed here. His excuses are that he doesn't feel loved enough by me and I'm not affectionate enough. But it's hard to feel affectionate to someone who is treating you like shit. I'm getting very little family support and being made to feel guilty for breaking our family up if I don't let him just come back home. But he's never going to change. I guess I'm just looking for some validation and support that I'm making the right decision because I keep being told I'm wrong. What are my next steps to stay strong in my decision to not take him back and to try to establish a healthy co-parenting relationship for our children? In the comments, Fairy Goth Mummy says, say no. Keep saying no. Find an attorney, keep all conversations between the lawyers, file for immediate custody pending divorce, separate finances, and do what the lawyer says. Action. First and best steps to staying strong. Separate finances first thing. Make it happen tomorrow. OP replies, I don't actually even know how to begin separating our finances, as everything we have is basically tied up in our business. Well look, this is something for you to ask your attorney. Imagine if your daughter was going through exactly that. What would you advise her? Please divorce him? Ah yes, the tried and true it ends with us approach. OP says, I think about this all the time. Jamhov replies, your children will model their relationships after yours. You are teaching them that this is healthy/normal for a marriage. His behavior is diabolical and you deserve better. Kick his volatile ass out and change the locks. You are not the source of all his unhappiness though. He would rather blame you than fix himself. Edit to add, the frequency of him getting blackout drunk is not safe for you or your children. Seek legal counsel, open a bank account in your name, and transfer 50% of the balance. Kick him out citing safety concerns for you and the kids. So on my bingo card, there is violent escalation to domestic assault, or at least domestic violence, like that's on there. The projection, I've already crossed that one out. We've also got cheating. I think cheating is definitely going to happen on the husband's side. Definitely some gaslighting and deflection. Him saying, oh, actually, it was OP with the problem. OP is the one that is separating this marriage up. Even though I left the matrimonial home 4 to 5 times. And I said I want to break up, and then I came back. The little yo-yo approach. You know, your wife knows that you love her when you threaten to leave and tell her that you want to leave the marriage. That's how you form a deeper and more loving connection with your wife. Keep them on their toes. Yeah, what a smart guy. But I guess this is not Am I the Asshole? Unfortunately, this is relationship advice. OP is asking what are her next steps. Everything the comments are saying, OP, keep your kids safe. Keep yourself safe. This is a very dangerous man. And this is the phase of leaving an abusive relationship in which you are most at danger. When he feels like he's losing you and he feels like you are getting out of there, he is going to escalate his behavior tenfold. And I hope that you protect yourself if and when that does happen. And now, on to the update. I just wanted to firstly say thank you to everyone for all of your responses. I can't tell you how much they've helped me through this time, and every time I was struggling, I went back and looked at them all. I just wanted to address a few things mentioned in the comments, and then give an update, so skip to the end if you just want the update. I've spent the last few weeks really thinking about our relationship and the dynamics, and honestly, it's difficult to really think about, and embarrassing to think that I've allowed this for so long. Some background to our relationship and dynamics of my life. We started seeing each other at 15, and on reflection, I can see that he was pressuring me even back then to do what he wanted. For example, pressuring me into losing my virginity when I didn't want to, but thankfully a friend intervened for me. I grew up in a house filled with domestic violence and an extended family that was very dysfunctional from trauma. Around the time we first met, my stepdad, who raised me, and separated from my mum about 3 years prior, told me that his new partner didn't like me calling him dad, and she was turning my bedroom at his house into her spare room for when her family came to visit, and essentially ended with him abandoning his dad role in my life. The night we started dating at 17 was, in hindsight, deeply troubling. We had been at a local function and had been friends. I was speaking with a mutual friend leading up to this night, and we snuck away to, quote-unquote, spend time together. When we came back to the function, our mutual friends were laughing about it, and he started screaming at me in front of everyone for hooking up with his friend when I knew he liked me and that I'm a bitch. I followed him out to apologize, and had no idea what I was apologizing for now, and ended up in a relationship with him. Oh my god, bro. That is diabolical. Obviously not victim blaming, not shaming OP for that, but that's an insane start to a relationship. He had habitually lied to me about using illicit substances throughout the years. He knew that it was a hard limit for me as my relative had passed away from an OD. I know to some people it is a bit ridiculous as it's pretty normal where we're from, but I didn't want to be involved with it in the slightest. He caused friendship breakdowns because friends would come to me and tell me that he was using substances, he would deny it and tell me they were lying, and I would end up in arguments with them. He admitted 2 years ago to lying about it because he could see my viewpoint had changed and I was more accepting of it. Our relationship was great for the last 2 to 3 years, 1 to 2 years before our wedding and 1 year after. But on reflection, I realized it was because I was just being more obedient to him. I was basically a married single mum and handled everything at home, worked in our business, and was the primary parent for our children. Okay, now for the updates. I saw everyone's comments about leaving him and running and divorce. This is definitely my plan, but I'm trying to be smart about everything and not rush into it and do it on impulse. After my last post, I did cave to his pressure and allow him another chance. I told him that I was going to visit my friend's new apartment in the city and go for dinner together. He lost it and tried to forbid me from going. I told him that I wasn't asking for permission, I was just letting him know. He was yelling and carrying on in front of our children that I either be husband and wife again or he's leaving right now. and I was just overwhelmed and trying to get him to stop, so I agreed. He also admitted to going through my phone to look at my messages with my friend because he didn't trust what I was saying. But shock and horror, a week later, he left again. So currently, we are not together. He keeps apologizing and telling me he loves me and regrets the things that he was saying to me. He keeps asking me, "So are you done, or do you want to be with me?" I reminded him that you left and we're not currently together. I said, without real changed behavior, I am not willing to be together. And I know that he will not be able to do that because I now realize that I think he's a narcissist, or at least pretty close. In the meantime, I've been recording many of our conversations and interactions. I'm meeting with a lawyer and speaking with an individual counselor and trying to get my house and estate for sale without it being obvious. I also forwarded many of our business financial documents to a separate email in case he restricts access to them. His work email is also on my computer as I handled most of his correspondence, and a few days ago, he had an email from Snapchat about some password change or something. Not really a huge deal, I guess, but I'm pretty confident there is either another specific girl in the picture or he's having casual sex. If there's anything else I should be doing, anything you may want clarified, or any thoughts you have, I would love to hear it. And thank you all again. In the comments, Matcha Magpie says, quote, "So currently we are not together. Lady, I'm on my hands and knees begging you to stop with this language. It needs to be, we are not together, period." OP replies, "You're right, we are not together, period. I promise it is not changing. If you can't stick with this for yourself, do it for your children. They deserve a stable home with good parents, and better to have no father than an abusive one." Hold up. After all of that, you didn't leave him? Do yourself a favor and just kick the dude right in the nuts. It'll be very cathartic. I don't know how good advice that is. OP replies, "I know, you're right. The kick him in the nuts comments did make me chuckle, so thanks." When you said he did things to you that you didn't feel comfortable discussing in your previous post, it honestly made me scared for your safety. Have you changed the locks on the house? Keep moving forward. It sounds like you have a good plan. Just make sure that you and your kids are safe. I just want to make it clear on record for the courts that kicking him in the balls in his current state is probably not a good idea. Obviously, this is a professional opinion of mine. So as a professional, I'm going to say that you should definitely not kick him in the balls. Do not do that. He will escalate, as I imagine people do when they get kicked in the balls. If you were to ask me, does he deserve it? I'd say yes, I do think he deserves to be kicked in the balls, but for your own self-preservation, maybe avoid that. OP took advice from the comments on her original post. She continues to reply to comments on the update post. I think she will be okay going forward. I hope she is safe. I hope that he stays away from her. We all know that he won't. But I really hope that, she took all of the safety precautions that the comments gave her before this and is in the process of getting a restraining order against this man to keep her and her family safe. This is a nightmare situation. I'm sorry it came to this point, OP, and I wish you nothing but the best going forward. Anyway, guys, that's where I'm going to end today's episode. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!